Sir Jim Ratcliffe's warning: Dimarco deal could make or break Amorim at Manchester United. Hey United family, and welcome back to United Daily Updates. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now because we are your most trusted source for everything Manchester United. We bring you the real stories, the inside information, and the analysis you won't get anywhere else. Today we have something absolutely huge to talk about that could change everything at Old Trafford. The secret meeting that has everyone talking. Picture this. Last Tuesday evening at Old Trafford, when most fans had gone home and the stadium was quiet, something very important happened behind closed doors. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the man who now controls Manchester United's future, sat down with manager Ruben Amorim for what people are calling the most serious conversation since the new ownership took over. What was said in that meeting room could decide whether Amorim stays as United manager for years to come or find himself looking for a new job sooner than anyone expected. The Federico Dimarco transfer deal isn't just another signing anymore. According to our sources, Ratcliffe made it crystal clear to Amorim that this deal will show whether he can really succeed at United or not. But why would one player signing be so important? Why would a smart businessman like Ratcliffe put so much pressure on his manager over one transfer? The answer is more complicated than you might think, and it could affect everything United do for the next few years. Why this meeting changes everything. When Ruben Amorim walked into Old Trafford as the new manager, everyone knew he had a big job ahead of him. But what happened in that meeting with Ratcliffe shows just how big the pressure really is. This isn't just about winning games anymore. It's about proving that every decision Amorim makes is the right one. Ratcliffe didn't spend all that money buying into United just to watch the team struggle in the middle of the table. He wants results, and he wants them fast. The Portuguese manager knew this when he took the job, but having it spelled out so clearly in a face-to-face meeting must have been a real wake-up call. Think about it from Amorim's point of view. He's trying to change how United play football. He's trying to bring in new players who fit his system. He's trying to get the current squad to understand his methods. And now he knows that if the Dimarco signing doesn't work out perfectly, it could be the beginning of the end for him at United. This kind of pressure can either make a manager stronger or break them completely. We've seen it happen before at United and other big clubs. Some managers thrive under pressure and use it to motivate themselves and their players. Others crumble and make bad decisions because they're too worried about failing. Who is Federico Dimarco and why does he matter so much? Before we go any further, let's make sure everyone understands exactly who Federico Dimarco is and why this signing is being treated as so important for Amorim's future. Dimarco is a 26-year-old Italian left-back who plays for Inter Milan. He's not the biggest player you'll ever see, but he makes up for it with incredible pace and smart football thinking. What makes him special is that he can attack like a winger and defend like a proper full-back. In today's game, that's exactly what every top team needs. The Italian started his career at Inter Milan's youth academy, which tells you something about his character. It's not easy to make it through one of Europe's top academies, and the fact that he's now playing for both Inter and Italy shows he has real quality. His pace is probably what most people notice first. When Dimarco decides to run at defenders, very few players can keep up with him. But pace without intelligence is useless, and that's where Dimarco really shines. He knows when to go forward, when to stay back, and when to make the right pass. This football brain is exactly what Amorim needs for his system to work. Dimarco is also brilliant at crossing the ball. United have big, strong players up front who love getting on the end of good crosses, so this could be perfect. His delivery from wide areas could unlock so many more goals for the team. But here's the thing that makes this signing so risky. Just because a player is good in Serie A doesn't mean they'll be good in the Premier League. We've seen lots of players struggle to adapt to English football, even when they looked perfect on paper. The real reason Ratcliffe is so worried. Sir Jim Ratcliffe didn't become a billionaire by accepting failure or making excuses when things go wrong. His business approach is simple: make smart decisions quickly and cut your losses when something isn't working. Now he's applying this same thinking to Manchester United. The problem is that football doesn't always work like business. Players need time to settle into new teams and new leagues. Managers need time to get their ideas across to players. Systems need time to develop and improve. But Ratcliffe doesn't want to wait years for success like previous United owners did. This creates a really difficult situation for Amorim. He needs Dimarco to succeed immediately to keep Ratcliffe happy, but he also knows that putting too much pressure on one player could backfire. If Dimarco struggles early on, it won't just be seen as a player failing to adapt. It will be seen as proof that Amorim can't identify the right players for his system. The €35 million that United are reportedly paying for Dimarco might seem reasonable in today's crazy transfer market, but Ratcliffe sees it differently. He wants every pound to deliver results. Every signing needs to make United better straight away. There's no room for expensive mistakes anymore. This is why the Dimarco deal has become so important. It's not just about getting a left back. It's about showing that Amorim can make the right choices in the transfer market and get immediate results from his signings. How Dimarco fits into Amorim's master plan. To understand why this signing is so crucial for Amorim, you need to understand how he wants United to play football. The Portuguese manager's system is all about pace, precision, and perfect timing. His full-backs aren't just defenders who sometimes go forward. They're crucial to everything the team does. In Amorim's system, full-backs need to be comfortable defending 1 minute and attacking the next. They need to have the stamina to run up and down the pitch for 90 minutes. They need to be smart enough to know when to join attacks and when to stay back and defend. Dimarco's style seems perfect for this approach. His pace means he can get forward to help with attacks and still get back to defend when United lose the ball. His crossing ability gives the team a new way to create chances. His defensive awareness means Amorim can trust him to handle his responsibilities at the back. But the really clever part of Amorim's system is how it makes every player better. When Dimarco runs forward, it creates space for other players to move into different positions. When he stays back, it allows other defenders to be more aggressive. Everything is connected, which is what made Amorim so successful at his previous clubs. The problem is that this system only works when every player understands exactly what they're supposed to do. If one player is out of position or makes the wrong decision, it can mess up the whole team. This is why Amorim needs players he can completely trust, players who understand his ideas and can carry them out even under pressure. What could go horribly wrong? While Dimarco represents hope for Amorim's plans, he also represents huge risk. Football history is full of players who looked perfect for certain systems but couldn't adapt when they moved to new leagues or clubs. The Premier League is completely different from Serie A. The games are faster, more physical, and more unpredictable. Players who dominate in Italy sometimes can't handle the intensity of English football. The weather is different, the style of play is different, and the expectations are different. If Dimarco struggles to adapt to the Premier League, it won't just be his fault. People will start questioning whether Amorim really understands what kind of players succeed in English football. They'll wonder if his tactical system actually works at the highest level of the game. This is exactly what Ratcliffe is worried about. He's seen too many United signings fail over the years. He doesn't want to repeat the mistakes of previous owners who gave managers unlimited time and money to implement their ideas while the team's results got worse and worse. The pressure on Dimarco will be enormous from day one. Every mistake he makes will be analyzed and criticized. Every good performance will be seen as proof that the signing was worth it. This kind of pressure can destroy players mentally if they're not ready for it. There's also the tactical risk to consider. What if Dimarco fits perfectly into Amorim's system but the system itself doesn't work in the Premier League? What if other teams figure out how to stop United's new approach? These are the questions that keep managers awake at night. The money problem that nobody talks about. One thing that makes this situation even more complicated is the financial pressure at United. Ratcliffe's investment in the club came with clear expectations about how money should be spent and what results should be achieved. The days of spending huge amounts on players and hoping they'll eventually come good are over. Every transfer needs to be justified with immediate improvements on the pitch. Every tactical decision needs to show results quickly. This creates a really difficult environment for both managers and players. Dimarco's €35 million price tag means he needs to be more than just a decent squad player. He needs to transform United's left side of the pitch. He needs to be the kind of signing that makes other clubs wish they had thought of it first. But football doesn't work like a normal business where you can predict exactly what return you'll get on your investment. Sometimes the best signings are the cheapest ones, and sometimes the most expensive players turn out to be complete disasters. This unpredictability is what makes Ratcliffe nervous. The financial pressure also affects how quickly Dimarco will be expected to perform. There's no time for a gentle introduction to English football. He'll be thrown straight into important games and expected to deliver immediately. This sink or swim approach can work, but it can also backfire spectacularly. What United's history teaches us. Manchester United's recent transfer history is full of signings that were supposed to fix everything but ended up making things worse. From big money flops to players who never adapted to the Premier League, the club has made almost every possible mistake in the transfer market. This history makes the Dimarco signing even more important. United fans are desperate for a transfer that actually works out as planned. They want to see a player who justifies his price tag and makes the team better straight away. The pressure from supporters will be just as intense as the pressure from ownership. But history also shows us that the best United signings have often been the ones that didn't come with huge expectations. Players who were allowed to develop gradually and find their place in the team have often outperformed those who were expected to be instant stars. This creates a difficult balance for Amorim to manage. He needs Dimarco to succeed quickly to satisfy Ratcliffe and the fans, but he also needs to protect the player from too much pressure early on. Getting this balance right could be crucial for both their futures at United. The club's recent managers have all struggled with this same problem. How do you give new signings time to adapt while also delivering the immediate results that everyone demands? It's one of the hardest parts of managing Manchester United. The domino effect nobody sees coming. The success or failure of the Dimarco signing will have effects far beyond just one player's performance. If he succeeds, it proves that Amorim's approach to identifying and integrating players actually works. It gives the manager credibility when he wants to make other signings in the future. Success with Dimarco would also give Amorim more influence over other aspects of the club. It would show Ratcliffe that the manager's vision is worth supporting with more investment. It would prove to the current squad that the new tactical approach is the right way forward. But if Dimarco fails, the consequences could be devastating for Amorim's long-term future at United. It would make other potential signings think twice about joining the club. It would give critics ammunition to argue that the manager's methods don't work at the highest level. The ripple effects would spread throughout the entire squad. If Dimarco struggles, other players might start doubting whether Amorim's system really works. They might become less willing to fully commit to the new tactical approach. This kind of doubt can poison a dressing room very quickly. There's also the effect on future transfer targets to consider. Top players want to join clubs where they're confident they'll succeed. If Dimarco fails at United, other quality left-backs might decide to go elsewhere rather than risk their own careers on Amorim's system. The fan pressure that changes everything. One aspect of this situation that often gets overlooked is how United fans will react to Dimarco's performances. The club supporters have endured years of disappointment and false promises. They've seen too many signings that were supposed to fix everything but ended up being expensive mistakes. This creates unique pressure for any new United signing. Fans are desperate for success, but they're also skeptical until players prove themselves on the pitch. Dimarco will need to win over some of the most demanding supporters in world football, and he'll need to do it quickly. Social media has made this pressure even more intense. Every touch, every pass, every defensive action will be analyzed and debated by millions of fans online. There's no hiding place for players who don't meet expectations immediately. One bad performance can lead to weeks of criticism and negative coverage. Amorim understands this pressure because he's experienced it himself since arriving at United. Every tactical decision he makes gets scrutinized. Every team selection gets questioned. Every post-match interview gets analyzed for clues about his confidence and long-term prospects. Adding Dimarco to this environment increases the pressure on everyone involved. The player needs to perform, the manager needs to get the best out of him, and both of them need to handle the constant scrutiny that comes with being at Manchester United. The tactical chess game behind closed doors. What makes the Dimarco situation even more interesting is the tactical chess game being played behind the scenes at United. Amorim isn't just trying to improve one position on the pitch. He's trying to completely change how United approach football. Dimarco represents a crucial piece in this tactical puzzle. His success or failure could determine whether Amorim's entire philosophy works at United. If the left-back position functions as planned, it unlocks possibilities all over the pitch. If it doesn't work, the whole system could collapse. This connected approach is what made Amorim successful at his previous clubs, but it's also what makes his current situation so risky. Traditional managers can afford for individual signings to fail because they can adjust their tactics to compensate. Amorim's system-based approach means every player needs to fulfill their specific role perfectly. Ratcliffe's warning to Amorim reportedly included questions about this tactical approach. The United owner wants to see clear evidence that the manager's methods will work before he commits to further investment in new players. This puts additional pressure on Dimarco because he's not just being judged as an individual player. He's being judged as a representative of Amorim's entire tactical philosophy. If he succeeds, it validates everything the manager is trying to do. If he fails, it raises questions about the whole approach. The timeline that makes everything harder. The timing of the Dimarco signing adds another layer of difficulty to this already complicated situation. January transfers are notoriously tricky, and players often need months to fully adapt to new teams and new leagues. But Amorim doesn't have the luxury of giving Dimarco months to settle in. With the season already well underway, Dimarco needs to contribute immediately. There's no pre-season to build understanding with his new teammates. There's no gentle introduction to the intensity of Premier League football. He'll be thrown straight into crucial games and expected to perform at his highest level. This compressed timeline increases the risk for everyone involved. Players who might eventually succeed given more time to adapt could struggle with the immediate pressure to perform. Managers who might benefit from a longer integration period find themselves under scrutiny from the very first game. Ratcliffe's business background has taught him the importance of making quick decisions and seeing fast results, but football doesn't always work on the same schedule as corporate business. The tension between these different approaches could determine how the Dimarco situation develops over the coming months. What this means for Dimarco personally. For Federico Dimarco himself, the move to United represents both the biggest opportunity of his career and the ultimate pressure test. Joining Manchester United would be the dream of most professional footballers, but the current circumstances make it one of the most challenging situations any player could face. Dimarco knows he's not just joining United as another squad option. He's being brought in as a key part of Amorim's tactical revolution. His performances will be seen as a direct reflection of the manager's ability to identify and integrate the right players for his system. This pressure could either inspire Dimarco to reach new heights or overwhelm him with the weight of expectations. The difference between these two outcomes could determine not just his own future but also Amorim's prospects as United manager. The Italian has experience playing in high-pressure situations with Inter Milan and the national team, but nothing quite compares to the intensity of expectations at Manchester United. Every match will test his mental strength as much as his physical and technical abilities. He'll also need to adapt to a completely different style of football. The Premier League is faster and more physical than Serie A. The tactical demands will be different. Even the weather and lifestyle will take some getting used to. All of this while knowing that any struggles will be seen as evidence that his manager made a mistake signing him. The bigger picture for United's future. The Dimarco situation will set important precedents for how United approach transfers under Ratcliffe's ownership. If this signing succeeds, it could validate a more analytical, system-based approach to buying players. If it fails, it might force the club to return to more conservative transfer strategies. Amorim's ability to successfully integrate Dimarco will influence how much freedom he gets in future transfer windows. Success could lead to increased investment in his preferred targets. Failure could result in a more committee-based approach where the manager has less say in which players the club signs. This has huge implications for United's long-term development. The most successful clubs have clear, consistent approaches to player recruitment that align with their tactical philosophy. Constantly changing strategies based on short-term results rarely leads to sustained success. The pressure on this one signing also reveals something about the current state of Manchester United as an institution. The fact that so much is riding on one player's success shows how desperate the club has become for positive results after years of disappointment. What happens next could change everything. As we look ahead to the coming months, it's clear that the Dimarco signing represents much more than just another transfer. It's a test of Amorim's vision, Ratcliffe's strategy, and United's commitment to returning to the top of world football. The stakes could not be higher for everyone involved. Success could launch United into a new era of tactical sophistication and competitive achievement. Failure could derail Amorim's revolution before it really gets started and force the club to completely reconsider its approach. For Dimarco, the opportunity to be the catalyst for United's transformation is both thrilling and terrifying. He has the chance to become a club legend if he can help deliver the success that everyone is craving. But he also faces the risk of being remembered as the signing that exposed fatal flaws in Amorim's methods. The next few months will reveal whether Ratcliffe's warning was the motivation Amorim needed to succeed or the beginning of the end for his time at United. Either way, the Federico Dimarco signing will be remembered as one of the most significant moments in the club's recent history. Will Dimarco be the player who saves Amorim's United revolution, or will he become another expensive mistake that costs a manager his job? Can Amorim handle the pressure of having his entire future judged on one signing? Will Ratcliffe's business approach to football management actually work at a club like United? These are the questions that will define the next chapter in Manchester United's story. What we know for certain is that everyone involved is under enormous pressure to make this work. The success or failure of this one transfer could shape the direction of the club for years to come. What do you think will happen with this signing? Do you believe Dimarco can handle the pressure and succeed at United? Can Amorim prove that his tactical approach works in the Premier League? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe to our channel for more exclusive United content and analysis. We'll be following this story very closely and bringing you all the latest developments as they happen. Remember, we're United Daily Updates, your most trusted source for everything Manchester United. Until next time, keep the faith and keep supporting the team we all love.